your time here so far?
I'm loving it. I'm enjoying myself.
We got to start with, you've had quite an impressive breakout season this year. 16 rushing touchdowns, 1,000 yards. What do you think was the key to having it all putting it all together?
I would just say opportunity mixed with the new system. Just getting a chance to get the ball in my hands a little bit more.
Which was a goal of Matt LaFleur's when he came in, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. And he let me know that, and he stuck to everything he said and give me the ball in different ways, using me as a receiver as well. So I'm enjoying myself in his system.
It's guys like Aaron Jones, the reason why people don't want to draft running backs in the first round. It's your fault. They're like, hey, you can get a superstar in the 5th round out of UTEP. I'm curious, when you got drafted in the 5th round and you find out you're going to Green Bay, I think that is an NFL city unlike any other. And for the vast majority of you guys drafted there, their first time ever going there is either on the visit or once they're drafted. Your background, though, is a little different. Come from a military family, moved around a handful of times. You lived overseas when you were very young, I think. Do you think that prepared you a little bit to go from El Paso, where you had been for, what, 8 years or so, to move up to the frozen tundra?
I think so. The military definitely helped me culture-wise, get used to different cultures and adjusting to that. And so when I got up there to Green Bay, I felt like I was able to adjust quick. Just the code was a little bit different from Texas, but other than that, it's been great.
You know, a lot has been made about the window, and that's what football players always talk about, the window, the amount of time you have to actually win. And with Aaron Rodgers getting a little bit older and your team, you know, trying to figure out, especially after the big-time loss this in the postseason, how do you feel about the window? Is it still wide open for you guys, or where are you at right now in the progression of that?
Yes, sir. We feel like it's still wide open for us. We feel like we're pretty young in all our skill positions. A-Rod's still young. He's still got a lot of time. So, I mean, if you look what Brady's doing, I mean, he's still got a lot of time. So I'm confident in him.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, why do you think he often gets criticism for his leadership role in that locker room?
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, my instances from being around him, he's nothing but a leader. He likes to have fun as well, and he's just making sure everybody's up and ready to go. So, I mean, he just expects you to be on your A game because he knows what everybody else on the field has to do. So
I know Aaron a little bit personally, and I feel like he's a little misunderstood nationally because of some of the criticism Jen is talking about. Outside of, like, what he does on the field, which is obviously remarkable, what type of guy is he?
He's a leader. I mean, for instance, Aaron is very educated. He's one of the smartest guys I know. So if I see something on Twitter, maybe anything that's going on that I have no clue about, I'll go to him because he knows. And he'll be like, hey, come find me at lunch. We'll talk about it. That's just the kind of guy he is.
Such a good leader. He's actually leading a marching band right outside.
I was just going to say, you're the only guest that brought your own marching band with you. He's here, guys. Give us 30 seconds. We'll bring him back.
You know, you guys had a hard time scoring against the 49ers. A lot of teams do. You know, what makes them so tough to score against, and what makes this defense so good?
All 11, they fly around, they swarm to the ball, and then, you know, of course, that front four, they get after it. They pin their ears back, and they get after the quarterback, and they're penetrating front, and that messes with the run game a little bit as well.
New head coach this year with you guys, similar system to what they're running in San Francisco, similar coaching tree. What makes that system so beneficial for running backs?
Just the way you're used. You're touching the ball, whether it be outside zone, inside zone, from the gun or from under, and then they're splitting you out wide, using you as weapons in different ways. I've even came in the jet sweep and gotten the ball, so just keeping them guessing. They never know who's getting it and when you're getting it.
So for you guys, you come as close as you did. Brian asked you about the window. I wonder, losing in the NFC Championship game the way you did, if there's one thing more than anything else you feel like on your guys' side of the ball, not defensively, offensively, we need to be better at next year to take the next step, what would it be?
I would just say being more consistent. We came out in the second half and we played kind of our style of football. If we would have been playing that kind of football in the first half and not making mistakes and hurting ourselves, I feel like it would have been a little bit of a different game. But that's not to take anything away from their defense. They have a great defense, and they came ready to play.
Just a quick follow-up on something you said earlier, that you had a conversation with Matt LaFleur about getting you more involved, getting the run game more involved in this offense. I think when we were all talking about what Matt LaFleur was going to install in this offense, we were like, okay, it's going to still be Aaron Rodgers at the line, dictating what he wants, reading coverages, and then doing what he wants to do. But it looked like Matt LaFleur made a concerted effort to focus on the run game, to scheme guys open a little bit more, and to maybe make things a little easier for Aaron Rodgers. Tell me just a little bit more about that conversation, and did you believe that when he said it? Because I don't think a lot of people did.
I definitely believed him when he said it. I mean, coaches just don't usually pull you aside and tell you that those kind of things. So he told me that, and he actually told me that in OTAs and when I first met him, and I got time to go back and work on my craft, and he told me that, hey, we like to use our backs in the receiving game. I feel like we can get them mismatches, and he gave me a couple backs to watch. Devontae Freeman, some of the guys he's coached, and great option route runners, and so he gave me that to look upon, and it got me excited, and I knew what I was working with.
You talked about what you guys did as far as getting the running backs involved, and I think for the Chiefs, having their running backs involved more so in the pass protection game against his front four is going to be critical for them to win the football game. But talk about a little bit how the 49ers bring an extra guy. Are they bringing 5? Are they bringing 6 guys? And how the Chiefs running backs are going to have to help Patrick Mahomes sustain himself in the pocket.
Oh, definitely. I mean, protection is going to be a big part of it. I mean, I feel like if they can hold up in protection, that's going to be a big key in the game. And the back is going to be big because sometimes they won't only bring those 4. They'll bring that 5 or they'll bring that 6 where the back has to step up in protection, or maybe they won't be bringing that 5, or he'll have to step up and chip a DN to help give time and things like that.
Is the best way to attack this aggressive defense is to screen behind him with the running back, trying to get him involved in the screen game just a little bit to slow down the defensive line?
To me, I think so. We ran a screen and we scored on it. We actually ran 2 screens and both positive plays. They were in man coverage, so you kind of just sit there behind the offensive lineman and get lost for a second and then do the rest after that. So I definitely do think the screen game.
People might not remember, but you guys also played the other team in this year's Super Bowl. The Chiefs team was right around the time the Chiefs defense was rounding into form. They really kind of peaked at the end of the year. You guys obviously won that game. Defensively, what are some of the things the Chiefs do well? Who stood out to you when you're watching film leading up to the game of guys you got to look out for in that Chiefs defense?
Definitely the Honey Badger. He's everywhere on that field. He's flying around, whether he's a deep safety or he's playing in the box. I mean, he's everywhere. So he's one of the guys that definitely stood out. But just like San Francisco's defense, those guys fly around. They're playing with a lot of energy. And also their corners stood out to me too. Willing tacklers, both teams, willing tacklers at corners, and that's something that's big to me in the NFL when corners want to tackle.
You got a pick?
I just want to see a good game.
Okay.
So you don't have a pick.
That's a good no answer for a current player.
Of course it is. Aaron Jones, thanks so much
Congrats,
for hanging
man.
with us
What
today. Congratulations.
Lead the league in
Much more
touchdowns.
First Things First, live from Miami Beach for Super Bowl 54 coming up. Baker Mayfield will join us live, coming your way next.
Really good. You don't have the caffeine app.
I don't, but I'm going to get it.
There you go.
And then
You
I'm
can
going to
watch
watch
Juju
it.
compete with people.
Absolutely. All right, back here on First Things First, coming to you live all week from beautiful South Beach in Miami. Getting ready for Super Bowl 54. That is just an absolutely lovely shot right there. We are sitting smack in the middle of that loveliness. Back here hanging out with James Harrison and Brian Westbrook all morning long. So, guys, we haven't had an NFL game since the conference championships. That was on January 19th, I think. So to say that we can't wait for the Super Bowl on Sunday might be an understatement. Coverage starts Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox for that big game. We've been previewing the matchup all week long live from Miami. It is now time to go on record. Nick, I'll start with you. Who wins this game?
I believe the Chiefs win the game because right now they have an offense that, as far as in the playoffs and through the air, is playing at an unprecedented level. Because it's been 2 weeks, Jenna, to your point, and we have such short memories, I feel like people are trying to convince themselves they didn't see what they saw. In the first round, or the second round of the playoffs after the bye, first playoff game for the Chiefs, they fell down 24-0 in the first half and had the lead at halftime because they went on a 51-7 run. They then went on a 35-7 run against a team that I was told is the Giant Slayer. They beat New England. They beat Baltimore. They've got the kryptonite for Kansas City, Derrick Henry in the running game.
They had the kryptonite for New England. It was run the ball.
Yeah.
That was the kryptonite. Everybody knew that.
Absolutely, and they thought it was going to be the kryptonite for the Chiefs as well, and they stopped that rushing attack. In order to beat a healthy Kansas City Chiefs offense, with Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback in God mode, you're going to have to get into the 30s. I don't think San Francisco can get into the 30s. I think the Chiefs win the game 34-26. I think Bosa gets home.
Patrick Mahomes playing in God mode, like you said.
Yeah.
You pray all the time, right? Do all your prayers get answers?
No.
Patrick Mahomes can't play in God mode all the time, okay?
He only got to do it for
going
4 more quarters.
He's going